Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? It's proclaimed the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Week 3 Pick Show. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with co-host J-JK47, and Johnny Parlay. We added Parlay and lost easy this week, but at least we still got one betting expert.
That's right. I was holding out. You know, my contract was under negotiation, but management finally realized what was best for them.
You Cam Chancellor'd it.
And they gave Parlay what Parlay demanded. And they sent Easy to the bench.
That's it. Easy's the B squad now. Parlay got called up from the minors.
No. Contract negotiations. Hold out.
Well, let's start off with the records here. 47, he's 9-6 all time, 6-4 this season, and he went 3-2 last week. In 3 weeks worth of picks all time, he has won 3 of his 5 picks each week. So he is very consistent.
Consistently bad.
Speaking of bad, Jim, all time, you are 46, 53, and 1.
In wins.
This season, you were 6-4. Last week, you went 3-2. So you won 3 of your 5 picks both weeks this season. And all time in regular season picks, you're 43 and 45. So you're a little bit better
or 2-0
in regular season. Yes, we'll get to that when your pick of the week is up. I am 42, 33, and 1 all time. I am 8-2 on a season and went 4-1 last week, 4-1 in week 1 as well. I am 37 and 27 all time in regular season picks.
Woo!
Johnny Parlay, all time you are 39, 43, and 3. You were 5-5 this season, but you did go 3-2 last week, so you need to keep it going.
Man of the people.
In regular season picks all time, you are actually 37, 35, and 1 though, so you are over 500 in the regular season. And then there is Easy, all time. He is 24, 29, and 1. He went 2-3 last week in the NFL. He lost his college pop, and in 2015 he's 3-8 so far.
Whew. Garbage. Good thing he's not on the show. Cause fans to lose money.
Please believe. But 47, we are going to start with your pick of the week. You are 2-0 in picks of the week this season and 2-0 all time, obviously. But the game is Pittsburgh at St. Louis. Pittsburgh is -1. The over-under is 48.
It's just a matter of, is the Pittsburgh offense going to be better than that good St. Louis defense, and how is Big Ben going to respond on the road? I think he responds well. Antonio Brown's been great this year. They're getting Le'Veon Bell back. So, I mean, that alone will enhance the ground game and the passing game. Their defense, who knows? But overall, I think they're going to score more than St. Louis.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Todd Gurley's coming back for St. Louis's offense, possibly this week. St. Louis's defense, they have been okay, I guess. I mean, they looked all right against Seattle. Seattle, it did end up putting 31 up against them, though, and they let up 24 last week against the Redskins. It's all about the offense with St. Louis, though. They were very good against Seattle at home, and they were very bad against the Redskins on the road. So we'll have to see if they can take their first week production and repeat it here in week 3 versus the Steelers, and I think they will, because the Steelers' defense, their secondary at least, didn't look good on the road in week 1, although they did look a lot better last week at home.
You know, 47, you say the Steelers offense versus a good Rams defense. The Rams defense gives up more points per game than Pittsburgh. They do allow less passing yards by about 80 yards, but they also give up almost 70 more rushing yards. So this Rams defense should be playing a lot better than it has been. And now they've had a tough matchup with Seattle at home, and then they went and lost to Washington, which I don't know how that happens. But I think this offense for Pittsburgh is just going to be able to turn it on, unless they have the same woes they did last year where they just forgot how to play offense on the road.
Well, this is essentially a pick-em. I mean, it's what, Steelers -1.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, you're going to push if the Steelers win, but I don't see the Rams beating the Steelers. I know it's early in the season, but Pittsburgh looks like a really good team this year. And last week I was looking, and one game really stuck out, and that was the New England-Buffalo game. And that was an absurd line where New England was, I think, at one point actually getting a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
point
they
and a
were
half.
favored by a point at one point. Even that I thought was absurd. And it just really stuck out to me. I don't know what the bookmakers were doing. And I don't know what they're doing with this one. I mean, the Steelers on the road -1. I know they're on the road, but they got to at least be favored by 4 in this game, I think. So I'll gladly take the Steelers -1.
Please believe.
Yeah, you're all going Pittsburgh. Outside of me, I'm going spread solo on this
solo.
one. I'm going to
Ooh.
say St. Louis wins this game.
Steeler
Ouch.
fans aren't going to like that. They're going to tune out.
Well, when we did our preseason, whatever it was, our schedule, I said St. Louis was going to win this game. Actually, you did too. I see you changed your mind at this point. But the Steelers defense, they were terrible in week 1. We know they're better than that. They didn't even know the plays that were being called in. In week 2, they looked great at home. Now, I think they're a little bit in between both of those, and I think St. Louis, it's the same thing. Their offense was great in week 1, bad in week 2. I think it's in between there. I think St. Louis is going to pull out this game, though.
Yeah, our preseason picks, I had Pittsburgh beating New England, but that was before Brady was unsuspended. So now the Steelers
This is your makeup game.
Yeah, they need to make up. So this is it. Pittsburgh at St. Louis, they're going to roll them.
J-Dash with the A1 bold prediction of the week. And I guess the Big Easy was also going Pittsburgh.
Please believe.
So that's a spread solo. And there's nothing better than hitting a spread solo. And then you can brag
Yeah,
to all
but
your friends.
if you
about
hit
how
this
you
one and try to brag,
stumped the
I'll punch you
experts.
in the face.
Well, look, the spread majority, which I didn't mention before, is 7-3 this season. So Pittsburgh looks like the right pick according to that. Last week it went 4-1 as well. So the spread majority has been working out.
On
I'll
fire.
mention the spread picks of the week all time. Our individual picks of the week total 38, 30, and 3 as well. So our picks of the week are doing well as well.
Money.
But we're going to go with your pick of the week next, Jim. You are 2-0 this season in picks of the week, and you are 12-9 now all time in picks of the week. So not bad.
And don't forget to mention 2 underdogs in the first 2 weeks. The parlay can't get on me. And again, this week, I'm taking Cincinnati over Baltimore. Baltimore's the 2.5-point favorite at home. I think the Bengals are going to go in there and beat up on Baltimore. Usually every year there is a team that's supposed to be good and falls off, and then a team that's supposed to be bad and gets really good. I think Baltimore's that team this year. I was never real high on Joe Flacco. Yes, I'm a Steeler fan, so yes, I just like to hate on Flacco because it's fun and he has a unibrow. But he's really not as good of a quarterback as people says he is. He's got a good deep ball. He is okay as far as accuracy goes, but he's not that field general type of guy. I just don't see it when I watch him play. Not that Andy Dalton is much better than Joe Flacco, because Andy Dalton is the equivalent of a loser in a football helmet. But the Bengals have a better team. They got a better run game. They got a better defense. Baltimore's defense got shredded by Derek Carr. Are you kidding me? Derek, ouch, my finger hurts. Carr comes out and puts like 36 points or more on you. You're garbage, Baltimore. You're going to end up going 0-4 because you got Pittsburgh coming the week after that. You're out of the playoffs by your bye week. Later.
Well, listen, yeah, they're like you said, they're 0-2 right now. They got the Steelers in Pittsburgh next week. Then they do play the Browns, but they then have at 49ers and at Cardinals. So 3 or 4 weeks they have road games. I think they have a chance to lose a lot of these games. I'm not going to say they lose them all, though. They probably beat the Browns. They have to have more wins by then, though. I'm going to say they have 2 wins. I'm going to say they beat the Bengals this week. Look, it's their first home game. I know Cincinnati torched Oakland, and they torched San Diego, somewhat, I guess. But Baltimore, there's no way they're going to start 0-3, and Cincinnati starts 3-0. I think Baltimore's going to come out and win this game.
I like the way Cincy looks this year.
They do look good.
And I must say that the only way I see Baltimore winning this game is if maybe the city officials paid off the game and they don't want another riot. So if Baltimore loses, you definitely don't want that happening. But I'm going to go with there's no corruption in the government, and I'm going Cincy. I think they're going to take this one, and if you live in Baltimore, lock the doors, board up those windows, and get ready, because that riot's coming again.
Please believe Bengals are going to be running wild.
Easy's taking Cincinnati as well. I'm going spread solo for the second time in a row.
That's why you're
I
losing.
thought you were with me on Baltimore. You actually told me you were with me on Baltimore earlier.
Parlay lied.
Yeah, going Cincy now, I just can't see
Changing it up.
Baltimore isn't going to start 0-3. I do think they're the worst team, but first home game, they're going to come out and get a win here. They have
47,
to.
who's the better quarterback, Dalton or Flacco?
I mean, I gotta say Joe Flacco right now, but I think that Andy Dalton has more to work with. I think that Cincinnati's going to take care of business in this game.
Yeah, let's not forget, Andy Dalton looked good the first 2 weeks of the season.
Well,
He's about ready for a letdown.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I like the two-headed running back attack, too, that they have down there. Even though Jeremy Hill was a little
Shut down.
Yeah, he was
Running
shut
back
down. He
attack.
lost a couple fumbles, but Giovanni Bernard also filled in quite admirably, too.
Beast mode.
So, I'm definitely going Cincinnati in this game. No questions asked.
Jake Dash this time with the red hot pick of the week. Alone on an island again.
We're going to go with my pick of the week next. I am 10-3-1 all-time in picks of the week, but I am 1-1 this season, and I did lose my pick of the week last week. My only loss somehow. But I'm going to go with Philadelphia at the New York Jets. The Jets are -2.5, and the over-under is 47. I'm going to go with the Jets in this game. Their defense has looked great so far. They only let up 10 points versus the Browns in week 1, and then everybody was worried the Colts were going to go out and smoke them in Indy in week 2, and they shut them down, just held them to 7 points. And their offense looked pretty good as well, putting up 51 points through 2 games.
Is Geno Smith getting punched in the face the best thing that could have happened to the Jets this year?
It could be. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't a great quarterback or anything.
He's better than Geno, though.
I believe so, too. I mean, he looked all right out there. And let's not forget, Philadelphia has looked horrible so far this season. Now, they did go into Atlanta in week 1 and lose by just 2 points. That's not a big deal. But they did look bad in the first half of that game. They turned it around in the second half. And then they looked bad in all 4 quarters against the Cowboys. I mean, Sam Bradford, he looks like the worst quarterback in football right now. I think he is better than what he showed so far, but they're just lost on offense right now. They have no line. They have no run game. So I think they're going to be one-dimensional in this game, and it's up to Sam Bradford to beat the New York Jets secondary, and I just don't see that happening.
The Jets are legit. The Jets are the team they're going to go from bad to good. And I'm not saying they're going to win their division or anything, but they're going to compete for a wild card spot. Todd Bowles has got that defense playing real good. You got Cromartie and Revis on each side. You can basically put both those corners on an island. So you divide the field in half. You allow your safeties to be able to do so much more. Like I said a minute ago, Ryan Fitzpatrick, not great, but way better than Geno Smith. He actually knows how to get the ball to Decker and Brandon Marshall, even though I heard Decker got hurt. I'm not sure how long he's out. But the Jets are legit. They could go 9-7 or 10-6 this year, and I definitely see them beating Philadelphia because Philadelphia coming into New York, I don't know.
Well, listen,
I think the cities, you're talking about riots in Baltimore, Parlay. There's going to be riots in Philadelphia because Chip Kelly's getting run out of town after this year.
sometimes when you win a big game, the next week you do have a letdown.
You're
The
right.
New York Jets went in and beat Indy, so this could be a letdown week. But seeing that it's in New York and the line is only -2.5, so they only need to win by a field goal against a team that cannot run the ball whatsoever. I mean, there's really no doubt in my mind that New York Jets should win this game and cover this line easily.
Well, easy is on the Jets, but Parlay, I think you're a little different, right?
Spread solo here.
Is this spread solo for parlay?
Yeah.
Spread solo.
Yeah, I'm going with the cayenne pepper hot pick of the week. Spread solo. This is, I think, the toughest game on the board this week, to tell you the truth. And
You think they're going to just turn it around this week, figure things out?
I'm not a believer in the Jets yet. I like that coach. He looked great against Indy. He really shut them down, and I don't see many differences between Indy and Philly. But I just think Philly's due. I mean, if you listen to 3 and Out with us, our 3 and Out program, you know that Parlay thinks Philly's about to turn it around their season altogether. So I think it starts here at New York, and that's what I got to say about that.
I don't know. I just don't see Philly turning it around here. I think that Revis and Cromartie are gonna shut down these Philadelphia
'em up.
receivers, and then I think those 2 big guys in the middle are gonna stop DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews. I mean, that pretty much forces Sam Bradford to win the game on his own. I just don't see
And
it
he
happening.
looks terrible so far.
Philly will figure it out. They got the talent. They just need a new coach, I guess.
Parlay, we're going to go with your pick of the week next. You were 9-10-1 in picks of the week all time, but you were 1-1 this season, and you did win your last pick of the week last week. You're going to go with Washington at the New York Giants. The Giants are -4, and the over-under is 43.5.
And I got to go Giants at home. The Giants are 0-2, but both of their losses came in the last minute of the game, and they were playing 2 quality teams in the Cowboys and the Falcons. They're not going 0-3. Eli's too good for that at home, and I know that they're going to be very pumped up and hostile in that stadium because they are not happy with the situation that went down week 1 where I don't know what I don't know what wavelength his helmet was on. Maybe he was getting the Foxborough feed.
Could have been.
But there was some really bad play calling there at the end of that game. That was pretty much a win that just
It was a debacle.
it didn't happen. So, and then like I said last week, they lost in the last seconds of the game. 4, it's hard to say. I mean, it might be right around there. They might win by 5. I mean, everyone thought Washington was going to be pitiful, but they're yet to show that.
I think the Giants come out and smoke Washington in this game.
Nice.
And the only reason why, I don't think the Giants are a great team, but they're at home. Washington's a terrible team. Their defense is playing well, and Kirk Cousins isn't complete garbage, but he's pretty damn close. But the Giants are one of those teams that'll come out and run out 2-3 victories in a row, get everybody all fired up. The Giants are back. Here we go. Super Bowl aspirations, and then they just crap the bed again.
That is their MO. They are that team that just can be one team one week and another the next.
And I think they're going to get on a roll this week. They're going to get a couple victories here. They're going to get pumped up in New York. Everybody's going to anoint Eli the best, and Tom Coughlin's a genius, and then his red face in December comes, and then they start losing again, and that's the end of the Giants. But for this game's purposes, I think Eli, much better than Kirk Cousins. You got to go with the better quarterback. Pluck you, Cousins.
Well, look, we were talking before, the New York Giants defense isn't that great, but they did face Tony Romo in week 1 and Matt Ryan in week 2. Now they go up against Kirk Cousins, who is nothing like the first 2 quarterbacks I mentioned. And Washington is going on the road for the first time this season. I think it's going to be a little bit different for their defense as well. I think they are going to have a letdown this week after 2 big weeks out of their defense. And I think, like Johnny Parlay said, if you went and listened to 3 and Out, he was talking up the Eagles. I was actually talking up the Giants. And I think they're going to start to turn it around this week and come out with a big win like Jim says here. And we are actually going spread sweep on this one.
That's
47,
good news
you agree.
for everybody out
You're a big
there.
Eli
Sweep
fan,
it.
too.
Well, Eli is my quarterback for our spread league, but I mean, aside from that, he is the better quarterback, obviously. But I mean, I think ODB is an awesome playmaker on offense. I think he'll make a difference in this game. Although, pay attention to these Washington running backs. They could actually carve themselves out a nice day against this New York defense. But in the end, though, it's not going to be enough to overcome their quarterback play. So, I mean, definitely love New York in this game. They're going to dominate them at home.
I mean, it is a pretty big line. -4, I don't like taking lines that large, even though it's not huge or anything. The next line we're going to talk about is even bigger.
You're not used to handling large things when you go to the bathroom?
Anyways, Washington, they looked okay over the first 2 weeks. I still think they're a bad team, though, and they're going to start to show it this week on the road for the first time.
Garbage.
The last pick we're going to go with here is Easy's pick of the week. Now, he is 5-8-1 all-time in picks of the week, and he is 0-2 on the season. So I don't know if you're going to want to listen to him, but he's going to go San Francisco at Arizona. Arizona is -6.5, and the over-under is 44 in this game. He is saying Arizona, by the way.
Easy's out of his mind. The Cardinals are playing good, but this is a division game. It's just like any Steeler fan knows. It's Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cincinnati. Division games are tough, and when there's a big line in any division game like this, I try to jump on the underdog.
If you ask me, Arizona's offense looked great so far this season, and we seen San Francisco last week on the road, and they looked very bad against a defense that a lot of people had questions about. And Arizona actually has definitely a better defense than the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point. So I'm going to go with Arizona. I know it is a big line. 6.5 points is a lot, but you've seen San Francisco get blown out last week. And I think Arizona could do the same thing to them.
I'm just going to play the percentages on this one, and the percentages say steer clear of Easy's pick of the week, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And you're going to start them off with 6.5 points. I like it. The main basis for my pick is go against Easy's pick of the week.
Believe it.
All right, so we got 2 on Arizona and 2 on San Francisco. 47, you're the decider here for the spread majority. What's it going to be, man?
Playbreaker.
I'm going Arizona.
Well, it looks like majority's losing on this one.
I like Arizona. I like what they're doing. I like their defense. I don't like what I've seen from San Francisco last week. I think that
We'll have to see if Hyde's healthy, too.
I just think that Arizona's defense is going to play Kaepernick a little bit tighter. You know, they're used to seeing them. They have a better scouting report on them. And I think Carson Palmer's going to have a nice day. Larry Fitzgerald's been excellent this year so far. Michael Floyd, as he gets healthier, getting him involved into the offense will be nice. And Chris Johnson didn't look too awful carrying the ball last week.
No, he didn't, but David Johnson looked great.
Believe it.
So everything's pointing up for Arizona. I think this is their year.
Could be. Eddie B believes it's Arizona's year. I know that.
What up, Eddie?
But look, the spread picks of the week, we're saying Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, the New York Jets, the New York Giants, and Arizona. And the spread majority, the same exact thing.
Got to go with that spread majority.
I would. I'd take these 5 picks, and it usually comes up as a winner.
Unless that juice gets you. Depends on how much you got. 20% on teasers.
You don't worry about that, juice. You just
Don't tease
listen
these, just
to
take
the experts. No need to tease.
I
make it harder than it is.
I have no teasers this year. A few parlays, though. And I got one beside me. But that's it. That's all we got, right? No more games?
That's it.
We don't want to pick the rest of the games, too?
Parlay's back from the holdout. In his contract, he opted out of overtime.
Ugh, it's brutal. I wish I could get out of overtime. Dash got me working every day of the week. But that's all we got for you with our pick show. Fans, if you agree or disagree with any of these picks, let us know on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can hit me up on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/betthespread. Come back to YouTube, click subscribe and thumbs up. Leave us some comments. If you think Kaepernick's the beast and he's going to roll all over Arizona, I'm sure you'll let us know. Dylan.